Thank you for joining us on Sheridan County Ag Update. Today we have with us members of the Sheridan WYO Rodeo Board. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Heartland Kubota and TrueBit Builders for your sponsorship. We appreciate you. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Liz.
Morning.
We have Zane Garstad, who's the Executive Director, Hayden Heaphy, who is the President of the WYO Rodeo Board, and Jess Sam's the Vice President. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Bet. Let's get WYO'd.
Absolutely.
It's time.
It is. Well, it's almost time. Yeah. So it's crawling up our back big time right now.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good.
Went fast this year, it feels like. So one of the big changes this year for you guys was actually a name change.
That's right. We had spoken to JJ Harrison, who's actually from OMAC, and it was honestly his suggestion that we include the Indian Relay in our name as the OMAC Stampede did with the suicide race, which I think is a great idea, and it's been very well received. And we had to make some changes to our logos and so forth, but we got some really good feedback from folks with the name change, and it's exciting to be partners. So, yeah.
It was a mouthful, I have to say, the other day when I had Mr. Lavelle talking about the movie, and it took me a minute. I had to revise and redo it a couple times to get it all in there.
Right. Whenever I write an email now, that's a long, title that you're using, but well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of makes sense. We've talked about it over the years. Sheridan WYO Rodeo is a phenomenal rodeo. Everybody knows it's for the rodeo, but you get outside of Sheridan, when you're at the NFR conventions, other conventions, they know us for a relay.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of makes sense. It's a culture we've always supported, and they represent us very well, and we love what they do for us. And it's just kind of a no-brainer to join it all into one, because a lot of people, that's what we're known for, is our relay races.
Oh, yeah. I can remember being up there, and you'd see contestants sitting everywhere trying to watch, and they loved it.
Absolutely.
It was
kind of not really that new if you look at the history of the rodeo, because back in the early years, it was cowboy days and Indian nights and Botsot Stampede, and so modern naming, modern evolution, but as Jess says, really recognizes the premier event that we are noted for worldwide.
I have some pictures of my dad and my grandfather roping here when it was still an amateur rodeo before it became a PRCA rodeo. And in the background is the Native American village up there with the rodeo going on. And you can see the teepees. It's kind of cool, those old pictures. So it is a very long history.
Yeah. It's interesting, as what I guess to add to what Jess and Hayden have said, that everybody's a fan of the Indian Relay race, and you will see world champion cowboys, athletes, cowgirls pinned to the action. Everything stops when it comes to the relay, and rightly so. And I will say that we're out there with judging and all that kind of stuff, and that is the most dangerous place to be. I rode bulls for a long time, but there's only one bull out there at one time, so that was quite a bit different. But boy, you got to have your head on a swivel when you're out there for the relay.
Oh, for sure. I remember one year Jackie Crawford was parked over next to the Wranglers, and she and the folks that were with her were up on top of her trailer watching the Indian relays come by, and I mean they just fell in love with it.
Yeah,
It's pretty exciting stuff. If we're free to open this conversation up a little bit, the Small family was close to your dad and your family for years, and they are a food vendor at the rodeo. I had a couple of years worth of great conversations with them, and one of the things that they talked about was the historical days of the WYO Rodeo, and they before Fifth Street and the hospital area was developed. There were Indian camps and villages that were set up there. They talked about relay racing back in the 40s and 50s. She did. And,
Okay.
And so we'd like to be cutting edge, right, Jess? But they've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, great family, and I'm so glad to see them here setting up that food vendor and having it available for anybody, but really down on that end for the relay teams, because it's hard for those guys to get up to that north end all the time to get something to eat. So very grateful that they do that.
Yep. And you have to say, Kennard Realbird did a great job of announcing, and
Absolutely.
and he really helped make that event what it is. And Sean Realbird helps out Jess, and it's a great family. And they were part of the original group that helped start the Indian Relay back in '97.
Wow.
30th year this year.
Yeah.
Years.
Gosh, I remember the old days of in the old arena. I used to stand on the wagon or the trailer with Bud Benth when he played the organ.
Geez, yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And that was still with the old wood, the old wood grandstands.
Yep.
I'm now showing my age,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, you are.
But I do remember when the relays started. You know, that was I was right out of high school, and I remember, and it's such an iconic part of the WYO Rodeo now.
Absolutely. Like, I think our first year we had like $15,000 as the purse and payout. And now it's 100,000. So.
You know, Jess and I had spoke about that a little bit beforehand. Why don't you expand on that, Jess, about the payout now for relay?
I don't know the exact number. In 1997, I came on board in 2005 with the relay, and I believe it's $17,000 then, and we're just a hair over 100,000 this year. We added women's relay last year as an exhibition. I believe the crowd really enjoyed it, so I'm doing a competitive, just a 4-team race each night, and it's quite a bit of added money, and they're running for the money this year. It's not exhibition. So yeah, I believe all in we're quite a bit over 100,000 with the men's and women's, but I know for a fact the men's is over 100,000 this year. It's 20,000 to win it. It's very sought after to get in here. It's totally invite only now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not the first 20 that enter.
Can we clarify? It's 20,000 on Saturday night that wins first
championship. Sorry,
and then the payout's been really healthy. So
yeah, very good payout. Like we went to invite only, I don't know, 5-6 years ago because it used to be just the first teams entered. But I believe we run the best race in the United States and Canada right now, so we get the best of the best here.
I want to say that Jess has done an awesome job with relay. He's in contact with the teams all year long. He studies it. He watches races. He's always in contact with the various teams throughout the year. And he has a great relationship with the teams. And that's a real asset for us. So
Appreciate it. It's fun. When you enjoy it and you love it, it's not really a job. You know,
Well-
I truly put my heart and soul into it, and it's like I said, this will be 21 years this year.
Wow.
I enjoy it.
we're all old.
Wow. Okay. You know, the one thing that I've heard in the past is, oh, well, people just want to see the wrecks. Unfortunately, wrecks happen just because you have animals and horses. Everybody's brains are working differently and things happen. But that's really not what this sport is about. It really is about the excellent horsemanship that these guys have, and their catchers, their muggers. They work together with that team of horses. And so, you know, when you're there watching it, you know, really look and pay attention to that horsemanship because it's phenomenal.
Just the athleticism of the team themselves.
Yeah.
These jockeys are the best right now. These guys are true athletes. Yeah, and like you say, the horses, they've came so far in the last 15, 20 years. They're riding some high caliber. They're majority of them all come off the track. They're all race horses. These teams take it very serious now. You know, they don't throw a team together a couple weeks for the WYO. This is something, you know, they started running most of them Memorial Day weekend. A lot of these teams are running on the racetrack, so they'll start in March, depending on where they're at. But yeah, great athletes all the way around.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried to ride a horse bareback with a pair of shorts in the summer when they're slick,
Yeah.
it's a challenge. And,
Oh, absolutely.
You know, people, I don't know if people realize that, but I think they do just because of the excitement that's generated when they're watching the races.
Well, and something I always enjoyed, and maybe it's just because I like the history, as Hayden referred to, our family has had the privilege to be around so many of our Native American friends over the years. But the one thing that I loved that Kennard and Sean both were great at was explaining about their regalia and explaining about the symbols upon their horses and what they meant and why they did that. And it really goes back to actually what's going on right now, the 150th anniversary of the Battle of the Little Bighorn. But it really was about the horses going into battle and that kind of things. And so I think people really enjoy that history part of it as well. It's not just fun, it's educational.
Absolutely.
We love that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You spoke on the safety aspect of it. Just thinking back, we've did everything we can in our power to make this safest race possible. You remember back the penalty line. We did away with that. We felt that was an unsafe, putting people out in the middle of the arena. We did away with that. We've cut our races down to 5 per heat. At one point, I believe we ran 7. Our track's just too narrow. And we make it absolutely as safe as we can. But like you say, when you got that many horses out there, that many teams out there, it's tough.
I was just going to say, the other thing about it is that, a number of rodeos have now adopted the Indian relay races. And, we see Pendleton and Calgary and now Cheyenne. And so it's really caught on. And we all believe that's really good for the sport.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going. We have by far haven't seen the top of it. Where I've seen it go just in the last 5 years, we've had some major TV networks in here, some big time reporters. I guess we've created our own issues because when you're on the top, everybody wants a slice of you. And we got a lot of competition now, but this industry's going. Yeah, we have not seen the top of it yet.
Well, what a great place for them to have a sport to call their own.
Absolutely.
And the animal athletes and the human athletes. They're no different than when we talk about the rodeo athletes.
Inside the traditional rodeo events, there's constant talk today of how do contestants get better, and it is all circling around horsemanship, and those cowboys who I talk to and I see typically on the backside of the track, not so much in front of the grandstands, are often in awe of the riding ability of the Indians. I mean, I've sat back there and watched a rider who's leading his race just kind of rock back on his horse like he's in a rocking chair and take his hands off the reins and just let everybody know, I'm here, guys, and you can't beat me. And when some barrel racer looks at that, she's like, "Oh my gosh!"
I'm not even going to try that.
We at one year we had 3 trick riders that were here for the rodeo, and the one gal said, "Can we get in that race?" And I said, "Well, you're not native, so probably not, but you'd have to wear a breechcloth." So I don't know.
That kind of took them out.
Probably took them out. But on the serious side, I think something else that people need to realize is that there is a real partnership with horses, with your animals, with the cowboys, the Indian relay. Those animals are family. And they are treated with the utmost respect. And I just hope people understand that. And if you ever, it's maybe the closest thing you can say to maybe compare is with your pets. Like people love their pets and they're part of their family. Same goes, I believe, with rodeo and with Indian relay.
They're family horses.
I mean, if anybody were to go look at some of the horse trailers going down the road now, they have cameras in them, they have air conditioning. I mean, the air ride brakes on. It's amazing what they travel in now compared to back in the old days. Yeah. But people they do take care of these animals.
And the events have expanded, like with Women's Breakaway, has really hit a big popularity. So what it's done is it's expanded the demand for horse flesh, and the prices continue to rise You know, I team rope as a hobby, and you know, back in the day, even 10 years ago, you could buy a good head horse for 10,000. Now it's 25. That's bottom line. And some of these barrel racers are riding horses, you know, more than 200,000 and above.
Oh yeah.
So it's really done a good thing for the industry, and but you better have some money because you're going to pay.
Well, and speaking of kind of moving off the Indian relay here and talking about the breakaway, last time that I was up there, the crowd loved the breakaway. I mean, people were excited about the breakaway and that there was another women's event as part of pro rodeo.
I was just going to say, I think it's so popular because, one, women love to watch women compete. Men love to watch women compete. It goes fast. They rope the calf, and he or she runs to the catch pen, and it's done. And
goes
so
about his merry way.
all those things together have really helped, I think, grow that event and grow the sport. And Calgary adopted breakaway, I think, just last year. And so it's catching on big time.
And these girls are awesome. They're fast. I can't think that fast. Ride and rope that fast. They're good.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Roping is a skill event. Roping and riding in that event is a skill event. Does not depend upon your physical strength. Depends on your brains and your ability to swing that rope. And it really, you look at a calf roper or a women's breakaway roper, that skill is evident in both, and the women are competing at the same level as the men. And why do people want to watch, Zane? I think they see that comparison. Maybe not, they don't analyze it, but they see it, and they like it.
I've seen some girls back in the day who could give some of them calf ropers a run for their money.
Absolutely.
They could run down a rope and flank one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some local gals that are better hands than a lot of guys, me included. So, yeah. So we have our own, you know, we have some local people that are pretty talented as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've had some other changes, you know, over the past few years. The parking is always something that's a challenge up there, just because we have nowhere to expand the fairgrounds to. Yep. We're kind of locked in. So are you guys going to be offering those bus services again this year?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we are. And thanks to the Sheridan School District for making buses and drivers available and letting us use the parking lot at the high school to park. I used to call it overflow parking. It's now our main parking event for people of in the spectator role rather than contestants. I mean, we fill up the grounds with contestants, and so yeah, great thanks to the high school and the school district for that. And I think, if I'm not wrong about this was originally probably set up or arranged with Sean Parker at Sheridan Travel and Tourism.
Yeah,
he reached out and put his inquiry out there, and so it's everybody in Sheridan pulling together to promote this event, and which, you know, I'm going to toot our horn. It is the signature event of Sheridan, Wyoming, and that's not to take away from anything anybody else is doing, but this is the unifying event, I think. And Jess talked with Floyd earlier about the cowboy culture, and people want to identify. They want to put that hat on. They want the image and the reputation and the tradition and the heritage that goes with being a cowboy. And everybody, this is our chance to participate. It's your week.
Right. With that, Sheridan Motors is our sponsor for the shuttle service. So we appreciate Sheridan Motors and their contribution to that, that part of the rodeo. And I just, to add to what you said, Hayden, I think in the past, I was guilty of being a little bit cliquey about cowboys and Western culture, and that if someone was wearing a hat that was from New York, then you weren't probably all that nice about your comments. And that's changed because I think it's a real feather in the culture's hat that people want to identify with that. And the more inclusive we are for the people that are involved, the better it will be for the entire sport and our culture and keeping our traditions and expanding what we're about.
You know, when Mr. Lavelle was here and we spoke about the movie Outriding the Devil, which we'll talk about that in a minute, but if you haven't watched the podcast, it was really fun. But one of the things we talked about was the fact that Miss Ganter, that the movie is about, her toughness and her never give up. And you see that throughout the whole rodeo world.
Yeah.
There's no give up. You keep trying no matter what. And I think people really want that. They want that back in their lives in the cowboy culture, and they see that. And it's interesting to just kind of sit back and watch now. Making plans for building a new barn, shop, or commercial building? Don't do any planning without a call to Sheridan's premier post-frame building and homes builder, True Built Builders, online at truebuiltbuilders.com. So speaking of the movie, that kicks off WYO Rodeo Week, right?
It's going to be, the premiere is July 5th. It starts at 6 o'clock. There's no admission. We're the presenting sponsor of the event, and but with that, there's only certain number of seats available. So the process is to go to the WYO Theater website and reserve your seat. And the great thing about that is we have partnered with the Welch Cancer Center, and so people can make a donation to that cause while they're reserving their tickets. And as I said, I was just informed this morning by Pam Overton that there are 100 seats left out of about 479 seats. So we encourage you to go and reserve your seat as soon as possible. But it's going to be exciting. I think I think what's really cool about it as well, there's I believe 10 other events, premieres throughout the U.S., and I think they're even going to go into Canada. But to be one of those 10 locations is pretty special. And they already had one in Casper during the College National Finals, and then of course Cheyenne Frontier Days. So Wyoming is well represented in those showings. So pretty exciting for us and here in Sheridan.
Yes. Well, and you can watch the trailer. I watched the trailer, and of course it hit very close to home, so I cried. But if you want to talk, will you expand on it, what it is, so if people want to go see it, that they know what they're going to watch?
Sure.
Well, you're going to get. The story is, and I'm sure Mr. Lavelle already talked about this, but the story centers around Miss Ganter, who was a top-level barrel racer from Texas, and she developed stage 4 breast cancer. And as you all know, when you start chemotherapy and radiation and the treatment for cancer, it essentially can destroy your body. And I won't say it will, but it can, and it can reduces your strength, and whatever your abilities were, they're greatly diminished. And so she fought through, true grit, fought through 10 years of treatment, and was drugged down to a shadow, a shell of herself, and then came back to the top tiers of barrel racing. And so in all that is the cowboy way, that grit, that faith that I'm going to get through this. I've just got to believe. I've just got to keep working at it. What are people looking for in the cowboy today? It's those values.
Yeah, never give up.
And I think the background of the movie, because of who she is, this I suppose could be a story about anybody in any walk of life. But she is a rodeo person in a physically demanding sport, and you get literally Rain calls it a documentary rodeo, and so you want the history of rodeo, you want to know about what rodeo is really about. The background and the story is all about that, and I mentioned to Floyd earlier that we will have stars from the Yellowstone TV series in it. You will have the stars of today's rodeo in it, and I think really the coolest thing about this, the story is great, but the guy who directed this and put this thing together spent 4 years living in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's what he mentioned.
so I might say he's one of us.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to go see this.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was a great interview, and it was so fun to visit with him about it. And I hope everybody takes the opportunity to go see that and support that cancer research.
To add on to that, I think that Sheridan, we are really fortunate to live where we live. And we have things, this is my opinion, but with the rodeo over the years, we have been so fortunate to just have things happen for us.
Right.
And just like when he called about doing this, I'm like, what? What?
Why'd you pick us?
We didn't solicit anything.
Right.
We were just here, and he called. And I just thought, wow, we're very fortunate to have something like that. And then, of course, getting Mr. Mars to come to town and what he did for us in the rodeo is just amazing. So we've seen some really great things over the years, and we're very fortunate to be where we're at.
On that note, we cannot do this without our community or our great partners.
Amen.
This is our NFR. We're a small town with a great rodeo, but we kind of feel like this is our NFR, but it's not possible without our community, the way they support us, and then just our partners, our sponsors, our contract men, our stock contractors, our bullfighters, they do this for a living. We live this for 7-8 days. It takes us a year to put it on, but all the credit goes back to our community and our partners. We can't do without them.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity then to talk about the Wranglers who carry your sponsors.
Who are those guys?
Who are those girls? Man. But, Zane, I know over the years has worked super hard about getting those sponsors. And there's some sponsors that have been with the WYO Rodeo for many, many years.
Long time.
And then you got to have somebody to represent them. And you've got a group of volunteers who represent and help to carry those flags in the arena.
They do such an awesome job. It's something that, again, people don't realize they practice all year. And the horsemanship skills you need to be a flag carrier, you better be a good horse person, because
we made Zane do it once.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not very good at that either.
Not a very attractive girl either.
Yeah. But I guess what I'd say is people don't understand the crowd is loud, and there is a lot of the energy that is generated at that rodeo during the performance is felt by everyone, including your horses.
Yeah.
And horses will react just like we do to, the noise and stimulus. So you better be ready, and you better know how to ride, because you may get tested. But they practice so much. They practice at least, I know they started practicing in like April, and they're practicing, once a week. And we appreciate the gals. Like those flags, they represent a lot of money, probably almost $600,000 in sponsorship. So they are a very important part. And it's down now. Remember, Liz, when we were doing it, we tried to have like 45,
51 was the biggest number I was ever involved with.
And
51.
And it's really hard to find 51 people that want to do that and put the effort into it.
And have the horses that can
and
take
the horses,
that.
Yeah. So they've reduced their number to basically half to 25. And that's changed the way we do our flag presentations as well. But they have 25 very good riders, very good horsewomen, and they do just a fantastic job of representing our sponsors in the rodeo.
Well, as a former leader of that, I want to say thank you for doing that, because
and
it did get hard, and it was almost harder to find the horses that could tolerate that, because there is no way in practice to recreate the energy that comes off the crowd. We can make noise, we can play music. You cannot do that, and it's, you just can't.
Yeah, you can't. I agree with you. These discussions remind me of what we call war stories. But, there was a time when the Sheridan WYO Rodeo directors rode their horses in the parade. And we rode into the arena as part of the grand entry. And how the horses are going to react to the stimulus of that environment is totally unpredictable. I don't care if you're riding a polo horse, a team roping horse, a family backyard mountain trail horse. When they see a white line on the ground, they might jump it, they might stop and run backwards. They hear that announcer and that sound, they may blow through the wall. Some of them can't even walk down Main Street and listen to the clapping and the cheering of the crowd. So everything you're saying is to me a kudo to the ladies in the Wrangler group, and that is an open event. I mean, men can ride in that as well, can't they? Yeah. We haven't seen that, but
well, I was ready. They said you're going to have to.
We didn't have
to get on and carry a flag.
Truth
I'm like,
is,
whatever it
Zane
takes.
didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Well, anyone who
Actually,
knows my lack
Spider-Man
of horsemanship.
didn't make the cut. It's
the horse
actually
again.
Spider-Man that was not.
Spider-Man didn't like that at all.
We weren't quite sure if Spider-Man would make it, but we did have a couple of young men that would come with their parents, and they would help. And then at our time, and I do believe that Lexi and she's a great head coach in that board that they have now. They still do have some outriders that are husbands and family members that they can con into that. I remember those days of, okay, let me see here. I'll fix you dinner if you'll come do this. So.
We used to have to hire or go out and recruit riding groups. I mean, the Cheyenne Frontier Days groups would come up, Colorado groups. But now we've got our own group of volunteers who are better and put on a better show than what you're going to get by bringing in a group from someplace else.
And who are asked to go and represent at other rodeos, and they represent the WYO at some other rodeos in our area.
And it, like everything else, that group really progressed because it started with us getting sponsors, and I worked with Vicki Kane on that. And, we'd call people a couple weeks before rodeo, and I would be biting my nails over that. And, but then we, went to, I think Tamara Mann and Audra Scott helped us. And then I conned you and Cindy into being victims of doing that. And
Annie and Julie and Kim came along with us.
And now there's Lexi and Dee Dee and
Allie and
just
Cody
like some great gals that are really spending a lot of time and committing their spare time to helping the rodeo.
And
so thank you.
Yes, and something a little different with the Wranglers that maybe you don't see in some of the other riding groups. The other riding groups are basically young ladies in their high school, college age. Right. We had, I think the youngest girl we had was Katie Schreibeis at 9 years old. And we had some ladies into their 60s and 70s that rode with us. Yeah. So we had such a wide age range. And one of the things that I loved was watching these people become friends who may not have ever connected in any other walk of life. And it was so fun to watch that and to watch those older ladies mentor those little ones. And that was so rewarding to see.
Yeah. They're still that age range. So it's just a great way too for someone who may not be the rodeo competitor to be involved with the rodeo in some aspect. And that's what's, we're all looking for that. And there's opportunity, I think, for everyone if they're interested in getting involved.
Well, that leads us right into your volunteers.
There you go. Boy, that transition.
Man,
we didn't
look
even
at that.
rehearse that.
Look at that. How did that?
Notice that?
I've spent way too much time
She's
with
pretty
Zane.
slick.
I've spent way too much time with Zane.
Yeah, I'm talking way too much. I'm just going to sit here right now.
So the volunteers, because again, you have your sponsors. Everybody plays a part in putting on this rodeo, and you have a lot of volunteers that help, from putting on the parade to the boot kickoff to helping at the rodeo run gates. Let's talk about your volunteer program.
Well, we are fortunate to have a new board member, Casey Terrell, who his passion is volunteers, community involvement. He's got a great personality for it. But he loves getting people to participate from the community that are not necessarily rodeo people. So the board really has a great lead person whose passion and interest is getting directors. And I'm going to use my platform on your podcast here to
go ahead.
just pound the gavel a little bit. But 96 years we've been somehow producing this great rodeo in Sheridan. And for 96 years, we have had volunteer directors from the communities who get no compensation, no pay. I mean, we pay our way to most things, but those people are all volunteers. They all come from Sheridan, and they've all taken time out of their personal lives, their business lives, to help promote the Sheridan WYO Rodeo. And I just want to recognize them and thank them as long as I've got an opportunity to be here and talk to you about this. So that aside, Casey's done a terrific job reaching out in the last 3 years. 3 years or 4 years he's been on the board? Three.
I believe, yeah.
And so those volunteer groups are really things that we don't necessarily think about, but the Wranglers are a volunteer group, and we sponsor and support financially high school FFA and 4-H and athletic teams. If they can get organized and come up and help us, our payback to those groups is financial compensation for their fundraising programs. But those are all volunteers, and they clean the fairgrounds. I mean, they, among sports teams especially, they walk that 40 acres up there at the fairgrounds and make sure that when we're done, we have a clean slate for the next people that are going to use those grounds. And so it's a big deal. FFA kids tirelessly load cattle, sort cattle.
They're amazing.
Help the veterinarians and anything they do with the livestock. And not to say that anybody's excluded from that group, but they are by nature in FFA, in 4-H, and they're in the animal welfare organization. So they fall naturally into that. The Gold Buckle Club board of directors, those are all volunteers. They organize those events. So I probably have said enough. Jess, you probably got another insight that I forgot to mention.
We're all volunteer, and you can't do it without our community.
Right.
We're doing it for our community, and that's our mission statement. We're here to put this event on for our community. It's not about Zane or Hayden or Jess or anybody else. It's for our community. We can't do it. All these. There's a lot of moving parts.
In fact, I think I'm the only one that's compensated. And
now.
Now. But for 31 years, I tell everyone I did a 31-year internship. And
some people are slower learners than others,
I'm totally a slow learner. Everyone knows that. But
We're on the fence with him.
yeah, it's a work in progress. But no, the point is that both Jess and Hayden said that we couldn't do this without volunteers. And it's just really cool when an event can really bond a community and bring us together, because there's not near enough of that.
No.
And I just have a personal comment about this whole thing and I
Here
can
we go.
I can guarantee that Hayden and Jess feel the same way. But being on the rodeo board or being executive director, whatever you want to say, that there's not anything prestigious about it. It's our responsibility, as Billy Kraft used to say, we're stewards of this event, and it's our responsibility to put on the best event possible. And sometimes that scares me to death, and I'm scared about screwing something up. But like feeling that every year somebody's saying, "Oh, well, it's got to be bigger and better this year," and so we're all like, "Here we go again. We here it comes." So we got to be on it, and so I want people to know that it's not like you're strutting around with a starched shirt. We're plenty dirty and in the pits most of the time, but
well, I've seen you get knocked down by the chute gate before, so.
Oh, yeah, well.
But people don't realize, like, they would not see Billy Kraft for most of the rodeo. That's because he was in the back pulling flanks.
Yep. Yeah, and that's true of the board of directors.
Yeah,
if you stop and think about it, you know, 2 or 3 of us are in the arena doing something, but we have you see directors on the rodeo board at the rodeo, okay? But you don't see them the other 11 months of the year when somebody's organizing the entrance in the parade or putting together the tailgate party out at the equestrian center or trying to organize an NFR preview event at one of the hotels in December. And we've got a treasurer who's managing the books who, you know, he's got his green eye shade on and trying to figure out if we're going to be able to put this event on. But it's unsung heroes, if I can say that, and I think highly, and I've been proud and blessed to be part of this board for 26, 27 years, and I know everybody else that I work with feels the same way, and we do this for Sheridan because we, as Zane says, we recognize that this event is important to Sheridan, and we want to make sure that we're worthy, that the event is worthy of the people of Sheridan.
Well, and I want to say a personal thank you because the WYO Rodeo Board has supported and been a sponsor of our youth jackpot show that we put on. And, you know, this year we had 185 exhibitors from 5 states.
Wow.
So, you know, we thank you guys for that. And then also the scholarship program that you guys have for our local seniors that are graduating. I mean, my niece received one. So thank you again for that. But do you want to talk about that scholarship program?
Casey heads that up now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We for years, I don't know, as long as I've been on the board, we've had a scholarship program. Yeah. We gave 3 scholarships at $1,000 or $1,500 a piece, $1,000 a piece, and we have a committee of members on the board who review applications from the kids, and I'm going to say that it is skewed in the judging standards a little bit toward people who are involved in or supporting the events that have to do with the rodeo. Okay. So an FFA kid who's up sorting livestock at the rodeo for 3 years is going to have a better shot than the all-star athlete on the football team who has never helped put on this event. Okay, so that's the skew. But we looked at the situation, and last year we decided that $1,000 is not adequate to meet the inflationary costs of college, trade school, whatever a young person wants to do. So we bumped that up to $5,000 or $3,000.
Wow!
And we multiplied the number of scholarships to 5, and we go to the counselors at every high school in Sheridan County and invite them to contact their kids and say apply for the scholarship. And you know, that's it. And Casey Terrell is kind of head of the volunteer committee, and he's been the lead person on that the last couple of years. But it does involve several board members just evaluating all these applications.
Well, and I know that some of our former flag carriers, and they were royalty as well, have applied and received those scholarships. Lainey Kaninsky comes to mind right off the top of my head, and she's now graduating from school in Texas. So
Right.
good for her.
Well, and the football team does
Yes.
move in the gold buckle. I think they've had the entire team there for
Yes.
Several years.
several years. And I just want to say that Jeff Mowry is a Class A coach, more important, a human being, and what he's doing with those boys that's worthy of a podcast if you haven't done that yet. So, but that's just, we have so many great people in our community, and
Shaps group.
shops.
You
Yeah,
know,
there's-
and I'm hesitant to start talking about the volunteers by name because I'm going to forget somebody, and I don't want to do that. So
Well, speaking of royalty, I'm going to maybe let Hayden speak a little bit on it because he was the liaison for the royalty. But every year you have some royalty, and this year we do have a young lady who is a member of the Crow tribe that represents our Sheridan WYO Rodeo, Miss Isabella Yellowtail, and I think she's done a great job. And it sounds like when she was on that she is going to run for Miss Rodeo Wyoming. So
sure she will. Royalty. I never felt like I was royalty when I was the liaison for the WYO Rodeo royalty. But I think just by dint of the passing of time, I've been connected with the royalty program through the rodeo board, going back so many years that it's almost like 3 or 4 different programs that we were dealing with. I mean, we had many years ago no interest in having the Sheridan WYO Rodeo Board try to manage a royalty program because it took so much time and so much personal contact with so many different people that were, I guess I'd call them an adjunct. We didn't know how to benefit from royalty.
it used to be county rodeo. Like
used to
back
be a
when I
county
was a
rodeo.
kid, it was county
Right.
rodeo.
Right.
You're right.
I remember when we had a Miss Rodeo Wyoming or Miss Sheridan WYO Rodeo come here from Crook County. Another time somebody came up here from Cheyenne. These were ladies on their own mission, but they weren't really a Sheridan WYO Rodeo connected person other than for that event. The program has changed a lot. We've got a group of people whose job is to promote young women and help young women achieve that interest in being the Miss Rodeo Wyoming, maybe just being Miss Sheridan WYO Rodeo. And this year we've got, I think they told me, competitive races at every level. You know, the program is broken into junior princesses and senior princesses and queen level, but and those are age bracket driven divisions, but they are now competitive enough that there's enough girls coming in at those different slots trying to compete for their for the, what do I say, the crown in that particular thing. We talked a lot about horsemanship with the Indian Relay. I'm going to tell you, a number of years ago, the horsemanship in the royalty program was frightening. And Audra Scott started helping us by making her arena available. Her daughter actually competed for Miss Sheridan WYO Rodeo one year. But the horsemanship, we thought, well, what's different about being a rodeo queen versus being a beauty queen for Miss America? It's the horsemanship, right? And so we stepped that up. And the royalty program and those directors stepped it up. But
We give credit to Jan also. We have a new board member.
I haven't got
Yeah.
there yet.
That's what we have a full-time board member. That's what she's in charge of right now. She is the royalty liaison for us and doing a great job.
You know, I know that when we kind of started taking over with the Wranglers, that was one of the things that Hayden actually challenged Cindy and I with, was to start with these younger girls with the horsemanship. That was kind of a stepping stone for them to go into that royalty program. And we worked with the royalty board to try to accomplish that so those girls could do both and try to start to help move that horsemanship in a positive direction.
Yeah, Jan Gwynn is and her husband Mark. Mark's a professional horse trainer. He takes those young ladies out there to his barn, coaches them, evaluates them, tells them what they need to do more, and probably from what I've seen more than anything else, he says, I'm going to show you how to do this, but you have got to go practice. You have to work at this. And it's been terrific. The rodeo royalty program is another volunteer program for us, and more and more, especially through Jan's help, they are becoming a. Would I be wrong to say a public relations arm or an outreach arm for the WYO Rodeo?
Yeah, absolutely.
They go to events in the community and
A lot of functions, outside rodeos.
Outside rodeo, unrelated to rodeo, and represent us and represent rodeo, represent the Western lifestyle, and it's been very helpful. And they've got a wonderful program right now.
Quality Kubota machinery and customer care from the heart. Proudly serving Sheridan and the surrounding area since 1996. Go online to heartlandkubota.com or stop by Heartland Kubota, 2450 Heartland Drive.
Well, there's all kinds of events that go on during rodeo week. We have the boot kickoff that used to start it, but now the movie's starting it this year. But the boot kickoff is still always a fun event for our community.
Have you ever won that?
No. I can't. I can kick, but not that
I thought you were
good.
a pretty good kicker.
Ask Stuart. I
was
kick,
just going to say, I
but-
bet Stuart knows.
yeah, I have never won that. No, I have been, but never won it. So you have that, and then you've got Slack starting Monday night,
Yep.
and Slack is free.
Yes.
Anybody can attend.
Yes.
And you actually have Slack every day, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Some kind of Slack.
So Monday starts with a steer opening slack at 6, and then 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Then we have barrel racing slack Tuesday night. And then, like you said, Wednesday through Saturday, all the events, the timed events, the breakaway, the steer wrestling, tie down, and team roping, all of those take place at 8 in the morning. Usually it's about 22 to 25 contestants compete in the morning on one. They run one steer or calf. The top 10 then take a bye and go into the performance, and then the others compete again that day, that morning. So it's really advantageous for the contestants because they're only here one day.
Right.
And so that gives them an opportunity to go to other rodeos and not have to come back. So, yeah.
So plenty of, if you can't make the rodeo for some reason, or you missed out on getting your tickets, you still can go watch Slack. It is a free event.
Yeah.
And actually, I enjoy going to watch Slack because it's just the
Well,
timed events.
you want to meet some rodeo people?
Go then.
Go to Slack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because those contestants and their families are sitting there watching their fellow contestants during most of the day and having a hamburger or a Coke and just talking. They're very accessible.
That was always the fun part for me because I got to see my friends.
Right.
You know, I could go see them and get the opportunity to visit with them when they weren't, because it does get so hectic there during the performance. There's so much going
Busy.
on. It's hard to, it's just hard to, and you don't want to interrupt them. They're getting focused. Where it's Slack, it's a little bit more relaxed, and you have that opportunity to visit.
You know, this discussion about Slack brings another thought to my mind. We're on the fairgrounds from Monday through Saturday. We start preparing 2 days before the
4th of
rodeo,
July this year.
4th of July this year.
Yeah.
And
Some of us will be there 20 some hours a day through the following Sunday.
And my public pitch, is if you're out there listening to this, watching this podcast, and you have an interest in being involved in some capacity as a volunteer, call one of us up and let us know. We'll find a place to do something. But where I was going with this is when we put this rodeo on for a week, we've got a fairgrounds that is the site for the rodeo, and they've got a crew that's working 24/7 to make sure this very high level Indian relay race comes off without safety problems, that the track conditions are as good as they are at any racetrack that they run on. Rodeo arena, county commissioners and the fair board funded a complete redo of the dirt in that arena. Not cheap. And not easy. You've got to get the right blend of dirt, and then we actually have to hire consultants to come in and help us, show us how to prepare the dirt and water it properly, and so all those people are contributing in something that helps this event go forward. That's kind of out of the rodeo arena, so to speak.
Well, and I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the fairgrounds crew, because if you haven't been up there, it looks fantastic.
It's awesome.
It's clean. It's painted. You don't see any garbage in the fence. I mean, Chris Sorensen, as their facilities director, has done a fabulous job.
Absolutely.
And so thank you to Kimber and Chris and that fairgrounds crew. It looks awesome up there. Yeah, they've really done a lot.
Yeah,
so
they have. Yeah, they painted the rail, and it looks really sharp.
It does look. We were up there for some 4-H clinics this past weekend, and that was one of the first things I noticed.
It really stands out.
It does.
Really nice.
It does look really nice.
And the other thing is, we're going to be live on the Cowboy Channel with our broadcast, and so when the grounds look that nice, it says a lot for Sheridan as well.
Yeah, it'll pop on that video feed and look really good.
When we had our jackpot show, we had a family from Riverton who came up the night before while we were setting stuff up, and had no idea who any of us were. We were getting stuff, and I heard them go, "Gosh, this is a really nice fairgrounds. Look how clean it is."
Yeah. When we individually have spoken with people from the Cowboy Channel, one of the things that struck me was that they are not necessarily interested in our event as much as they are our community. They need stories to tell. They want to talk about Sheridan. They want to talk about the restaurants and the recreational opportunities in the Bighorn Mountains and the ranches and what the downtown is like. I mean, it's what's Sheridan like as a place. They are very interested in that, and they promote us. Am I fair to say that?
Oh,
Zane?
Absolutely.
Because of who we are, folks are getting a boost on that on national television, talking about our town.
And to add to that, one of the reasons that is happening is the work that Sheridan County Travel and Tourism with Sean Parker and Max and Lance have put out some of the best film, video clips on all kinds of aspects about our community, from the backyard to, promos for rodeo and the community. And so it was interesting because the Cowboy Channel said, well, can you send us some stuff? And there's a complete library that Sean has of all the different videos and so forth. And so I sent her that and I said, you're going to like that. And she wrote back and said, wow, this is fantastic. So those people there have done a great job, along with the state of Wyoming, promoting, our state sport rodeo. But that partnership, again, is very important to what we're doing here. And we're fortunate because we have great partners, across the community. And that's what's so good about the event. It's a glue that kind of helps us stick together.
It's not just one entity that makes it happen. Everybody, you've got to have the contestants, you got to have the spectators, you have to have the volunteers, you have to have a board, you have to have other people helping put time in outside of that to make this whole thing work.
A lot of moving parts.
There are a lot of moving parts. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Stu, my favorite Jumbotron guy, because he always had great shots of the Wranglers during videos every night.
Stu does rodeo production. That's what he does for a living. He's a pro, and he's back with us. And yeah, he does such a good job. And that's with our contract people. They are professionals. They do this multiple times. Like Jess said, this is our NFR. This is our one-time deal. And those people make a living doing that. And so during the rodeo, there's things that have happened in the past that people don't even know happened, because those people react so fast and they know what to do that it just happens and it's fixed and you just move on. And we're just so fortunate to have the people that we have, like JJ and Sankey's and Matt with Phenom Genetics and Pickup Man and bullfighters and secretaries.
I was going to say, do not
timers,
forget them. Don't forget those ladies.
We go to conventions. I don't, probably most people don't know this, but Jess and Zane and I go to the Association of Rodeo Committees convention, which is that group is a subset of all PRCA rodeos, and they include the biggest and the best, San Antonio, Pendleton, us, and then the smallest of the small, rodeos that in towns that you've never heard of. But what is it? It's an unbelievable education opportunity. And this ain't your daddy's rodeo anymore. I hate to say it, we're in the age of professional television media communications, and we have to learn how to put on a rodeo to fit the demand of the market. The contestants expect more, and but guys like Stu, we talk about him like he's our guy. How many years has he been here?
Oh gosh,
many years.
Ever since we got the Jumbotron,
right?
And that's a long time.
Well, when we go to one of these conventions, guess who the presenter is? He's like your director here at the studio. He's the guy telling everybody else how to do it, and he's our guy here in Sheridan, and we're pretty darn proud of that. I keep talking.
You do talk.
I don't mean to. I got paid to do it for years.
I was going to note that, but no, all good comments. Like say it takes an army to do this, and we've got a wonderful board. Can't do without the board. Can't do without our community.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning the secretaries and timers. They are the unsung heroes that get forgot a lot. Yes, so thank you.
How many timers do you need for Indian Relay, Jess?
7
timers for Indian Relay.
Yeah.
And that's also
and again volunteer.
Yep.
Right.
There's 2 judges per team, so we got 10 judges.
But
myself.
even like what people don't realize is during the rough stock events, when the stock leaves the arena, they call it the strip and shoot. That's probably one of the most dangerous jobs you can have. And so we're fortunate that we have really good people doing that have experience. And that's one thing, especially around that arena, you have to have people that have a background in that, just because even if you have a background, there's an opportunity you can get ran over or, things happen.
Yeah.
And
I got kicked by some steers before, not going to lie, down there in the strip and shoot. Yeah. Just you're down, taking off ropes, and it happens.
Well, at the risk of missing people's names, now a couple of more people come to mind. Gary Mefford has been working that rodeo, putting together a crew, working those shoots for years. Mike Albright. I mean, there's lots of people that have been very helpful.
They've untied calves since I was a kid.
Right. Yeah. Jimmy Wolf.
So, a real cool thing, Keith Brandt, he passed away last year, I believe, but he ran the outgate for the timed event cattle for ever. He would call me every year and say, am I in? I'm like, of course you're in. And now his son, Sam, and his wife are doing it. So that's, this generational thing is really, really cool. And yeah.
Well, how long's Tom Wood ran the the chute?
Oh, he's like
20.
Is he 120 years old now?
He's getting up there.
He might have been here in 1931.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, that's right.
think he
That's
was.
right.
Sorry, Tom.
Tom has opened that gate, that chute gate, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one of those guys that you just count on him. He's always there, and he's done a really good job at the college as well. I worked with him for years on that as well, and he's a good hand.
Hey Zane, can you fill in the people that are watching this a little bit on the business of trying to be futuristic, but electric eyes versus hand pulls on the timed events, and what we've worked with, experimented with there, and
Oh, sure. So most of the time with the timed events, for those who don't know, there's a rope barrier is what they call it. So there's a neck rope that goes around the animal that's tied with a string, and there's a length of the rope that varies depending on the event, but the animal gets a head start. And when they break the rope on their neck, then the barrier releases. And so over time, we've used the rope barrier. For a couple of years, they use an electric eye in a lot of team ropings. And I'm just going to say, sometimes technology works and sometimes it doesn't. So we used an electric eye system. A couple of years we tried it with the breakaway, and it just didn't work because the size of the cattle, the different times of the day that you can have the sun hitting the shadows and so forth. And so that system didn't work. There is a system out there they've been using for quite a while. We proposed to use that, but the PRCA didn't want us to use that. So we go back to the rope barrier. But what Hayden's talking about is a hand pull barrier.
yes,
Where the judge pulls the rope. So there's the line, and he watches the line, and he's holding the barrier rope. And as soon as that animal hits that line, then he pulls the barrier. So, and it's totally old school. So it's kind of fun because you are mixing tradition with the modern things about the sport. And so there's still a place for that. And it's kind of cool because we call it old school.
Right.
And at the college rodeo, actually, we ran a hand-pulled barrier for every event. Now, in pro rodeo, the tie-down ropers don't want you to do that, the breakaway ropers and the bulldoggers. But the steer ropers and the team ropers, we still use the hand-pulled barrier. But
We went to Slack a few years ago, and you guys had the hand pull barrier, and Stuart looks at me and goes, "What are they doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, that is old school right
Old
there. I know
school.
about that."
yeah.
And so when people go, if they don't know, the little orange flag that's actually on that barrier, that is for the timers. So they actually know when to start their time.
Yeah.
And then the flagger out there, when he drops the flag, is when the timer stops it. And there's more than one timer up there because you have to have two. A lot of pro rodeos will have three. You average your times together. I guess that's how I got into accounting, because I had to learn to average quickly.
Right.
And thanks to Vicki Benedict here in town, she's the one who taught me that years and years and years ago at Team Ropens.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Cool.
old school.
Old school stuff is still good. Yep. In certain areas.
Yeah.
And that's the key, and that's something that I think that we all work on. We are never satisfied. You can't be complacent. If you're not growing, you're dying. And that's what is exciting about our board, is that we're always looking at something new and trying to. And we've been pretty darn fortunate. We've had some things that didn't work, but for the most part, the changes that we've made throughout the years have been successful. But you don't know unless you try something new. The only thing that maybe some people I've had say, well, the rodeo is the same thing every year. Well, the rodeo events are standard, and you cannot change them.
No.
So that core foundation does remain the same. But if you watch pro rodeo, it gets better and better. The athletes, both animal and human, get better every single year.
Well, I'm going to throw a name out there that I'm sure if you've been to WYO, you've seen him. If you watch the NFR, you've seen him. But Trevor Brazil's son, Tristan, 18 years old, just won a big rodeo down in Texas with Tyler Wade, filled his permit. And I do believe you are going to see that young man have probably more titles than his dad.
It's in his genetics.
It is.
I don't know. That's a tall order. He's won 24, 25 world titles. Trevor Brazil did.
But Tristan's young.
Yeah, he's 18.
But I'll tell you this. Trevor Brazil, Sheridan was one of his favorite places to be. In fact, this was his home base. And so he would come here and steer rope and his other events, and then he would travel to other rodeos, but he always came back and stayed in Sheridan. And so we're really happy that we had that relationship with him. And in fact, when they did an ERA, a different kind of rodeo back in the day, that was one of the reasons that we did that event, is because of our relationship with Trevor.
We've got a number of other, I guess what I'd call local contestants who are probably worthy of mention that they've been here through Sheridan College, or who they've just been successful and they've decided to adopt Sheridan as their home base. And I think of Sheridan College, Chet Johnson, who's now attempting to develop a professional rodeo in Buffalo and Johnson County. And you guys know the current athletes better than I do, and I think they're worthy talking about.
Definitely got some up and coming. Kudos to Bobby Harris and the program. That's a whole nother podcast. That thing's going somewhere. And then got to
fast. It's going somewhere fast.
They laughed when they interviewed him at they called it an arm ceremony at the college dance finals. They laughed at Bobby, like, look at all these bronc riders. Talking about,
he's a timey.
Yeah. But no, that program's going places in a hurry.
Well, you talk about some legacy, and Zane, I'm going to date you a little bit, but Jake Schlottman is here riding. His dad rode when you were the college rodeo coach here. His dad rode for you. So there's definitely, Sheridan has definitely had some legacy type cowboys, and now they have young ones coming up.
Yeah. Wheaton Williams, he ropes really good. Stan and Deanne's son, and I believe he's entered. He was entered last year, I know. But there's more and more people that are coming up. But the thing is, it's not, you can't just be from here and get in.
No.
We have limits, and we have qualifications for people who enter the rodeo. So that's something that people may not know, is that there's we do have limits, and we do have earnings that you have to have so much in earnings in order to enter the rodeo, which again is saying that we're trying to get the best athletes as possible. So Casey Rader was in the breakaway roping a couple years ago, and I know Carla Olson's daughter, she's in college down Abigail, she's down in Kansas, and she's kicking butt. And Addie Rader, there's there's just some up and coming kids. I can't remember all, but I wish there were more kids. But the thing about that is that rodeo is an expensive sport. When you add horse flesh and trucks and trailers and tack and feed and
travel
and fuel
and it's tough.
No guaranteed paycheck.
Nope.
So
nope. You talk about being able to get in. I think the last time that Dad and Jerry Small roped was probably in the early to mid 2000s. I want to say maybe 2010 or so. And they were both gold card holders, but they had to wait to see if they actually could get in till everybody, all the other slots were filled. And then when they start with the gold card and that kind of thing. So just because he was from here didn't mean he was guaranteed to get in.
Right. And that's the other thing, is that we're in the top 60 rodeos in the PRCA. We're rated 23rd. And that's pretty awesome for a town our size.
Absolutely.
But it's just like rodeo. It's competitive. you have to get better every year. You have to add more money every year because you need to be relevant. And we want to stay in that top 60 because that's what's attracting the best athletes. So for those of you who don't understand that, it's competition. So
It is.
we have to continually look for ways to increase our prize money. I mean, Indian relays, 100,000.
Started out at 15.
Yeah, and just thinking about that, we had, I think, with all the events, about 210,000 for the rodeo itself. But for those of you who don't know, when you enter the rodeo, there's the added purse, which is 21,000 per event in the rodeo. Then you pay entry fees, and a good portion of those entry fees go into the pot as well. And so then it does pay more than that 21,000. And our payout last year was with the Indian Relay was 515,000, and it'll be more this year. So again, it's just something that. And when I first started, the total payout was 40,000, and it's now 515 for a lot of various reasons that we could have another podcast about. But just from the contributors contributors that helped us throughout the years. But it's just a really cool thing that our community, we've been able to build this thing, and it's fun to be on the ride.
One thing that you talked about when you were talking about new and innovating, and you added this a few years ago, but is the Stock Stars Tour.
Yeah.
And I accidentally went on at one time with Tracy Swanson because Tracy and I started talking, and he was just like, well, come on, let's go to the next. So I went on the Stock Stars Tour on accident. Thank you, Tracy, for that. But I've been around rodeo my entire life, and it was actually very interesting for me to get to actually listen to Wade and Matt talk about the bulls and the broncs and all the back story of them and the care that goes into them. And so even though I was around it, it was really fun to be able to experience that. So do you still have some openings this year, or are they sold out?
So. No,
Okay.
no, there's still openings.
Still openings, and we've done in the Stock Stars, we've done another community partnership that we're proud of. We've partnered with the Bradford Brenton Museum, and so we have a VIP premier Stock Star package that gives you the Stock Star tour at the rodeo grounds with Wade and Matt, talk about the livestock, the behind the scenes, behind the chutes look. Then they go to the Bradford Brenton and get a guided tour of the grounds at the museum.
Okay.
And most people have not had that opportunity to see that old ranch. And then I had a group of tickets. I think it was 16 that we had that are unavailable for sale to anybody, but they're in that front 7 rows at the rodeo, below the walkway. They're our prime seating area, and so you can buy a Stock Stars package that gives you that seat with the Stock Star tour, which is I'm not lying to you here. Those tickets are just not available. I mean, in Sheridan, God bless the people that are buying these tickets for the last 97 years. They will never let go of a reserved seat that they've got. I mean, we would love to sell those tickets to everybody and their brother, but we've made a promise to the reserved ticket holders that those tickets are available to you year after year. And so we can't just open up a block of tickets, but we were able to put together a few and hook it up with the Stock Stars tour. And it's different sitting down there in the front row, isn't it? You can look over and see those Indian.
I don't know. I've never sat there, so I don't know.
Yeah, we've never been there.
Zane's in the arena.
Yeah.
A little busy that time.
But I want to say thanks to our sponsor for that. That's Tito's. But then I do think I'd like to say about Gold Buckle. They're huge. They're a platinum sponsor, a huge part of the rodeo, and we appreciate all they've done. And They helped us with the funding for the new chutes and pins last year, and they just
That look really sharp.
Yeah, they're a great sponsor, great partner.
When you see that white rail on the racetrack this year with those new chutes, I think it's going to look pretty impressive on television.
I do want to mention two people. You talk about behind the scenes. Kelly Pascal Gould helps us a great deal with, public relations, marketing. She's a real expert. And Janae Neeson does our graphic design. And we're going to get a new shade behind the grandstands this year. You get to see her work. But the new poster for this year is absolutely fantastic. And I have not heard anyone say anything negative about that poster. Everywhere we take it, everyone's super complimentary, and they do the designs for our merchandise, which in fact we'll be selling at the rodeo for the first time ever. Well, we sold some T-shirts years ago, but this is going to be a little different, Liz. It'll be a little bit different.
I had a table and a cash bag is what I had. Zane's like, here, go sell some stuff.
Well, we all operated that way.
Yeah.
That's what
Things have changed a great deal.
Yeah, that was part of my college entrance exam right there was here, go sell some stuff.
But
Just think what it was like to buy a ticket. You stand in line all day long to get a paper ticket, and now everything gets done online off your computer, and that's a whole nother operating world that the directors manage. And kudos to everybody who's involved in that. It's not an easy job. Should I mention the face of the WYO Rodeo at the ticket office?
Oh, absolutely.
Helen Maynard.
Helen Maynard is
Helen
a
Maynard.
rock star.
She is
Rock
like,
star.
everybody knows Helen. They may not even know about the Sheridan WYO Rodeo, but they know Helen.
Helen is amazing. You see, we've got some really good people that are, Helen is just as passionate about that rodeo as anybody. Same with Kelly, same with Janae, there's a lot of people that are helping, doing their job that are really care about the rodeo. You can tell by what they're doing.
Well, and I guess I'm going to say, because I personally have got to witness this over the years, big thank you to your spouses and kids and family, because the amount of time that the board of directors puts in the whole year dedicating to meetings and putting this together, you're away from your families and your spouses quite a bit. So kudos to them for being patient. And being a part of that process as well.
I think I've been married for 38 years, probably because I am on the board. She didn't have to put up with me.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but no, Lisa and I have had that discussion before.
Figured you did.
Yeah,
I figured that.
Well, they can buy tickets to the Stock Stars Tour on the website, correct? SheridanWYORodeo.com.
Yes.
Okay.
At the box office.
And how are ticket sales? Do we still have some rodeo tickets, or are we
I
pretty?
have a couple of tickets left for you, but they're getting pretty thin.
Okay.
I think latest numbers we looked at last week was these guys probably remember what I counted, but 500, 600 on Wednesday night, 300, 400 on Thursday night, under 100 for Saturday and Friday, and we are doing something to try to protect our Sheridan fans from the online scammers. The game out in the concert ticket world or the event ticket world is for people to buy up a group of tickets at face value, take them off the board, and then as the event approaches, set up their own website and resell those tickets at, as much as I've seen tickets at $249 to come to our event, where we're charging $28 for that ticket. So we're trying to protect against that, and you can't always do it with a computer. So we've taken a number of tickets off the online site that are available for Friday and Saturday night if Sheridan people will go into the box office at the WYO Theater and just tell them that they want a ticket.
Okay.
So
those hours, they're there right now. Well, they're there Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4:30 to 6:30, correct?
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is, get in there and get your ticket bought.
Yeah,
going fast.
That's where you were going with this, right?
Don't delay.
The days of walking up at the ticket booth at the WYO Rodeo that day are long gone.
Yeah.
I have a ticket customer from Saskatchewan who is really an
From
Indian.
Moose Jaw? Is it from
He-
Moose Jaw?
He is pretty close. He's really an Indian relay
Oh, wow,
fan.
it came
But
back
he calls
quickly.
me. He calls me every year, starting in about February. Can I get some tickets to the Indian relay races? And as Jess says, well, you can buy tickets to the Indian relay races. We'll throw in a free rodeo with that. But
That's nice.
he
of you.
starts every year, and he's trying to get those tickets and come down. And I guarantee you, he does not know how to turn on a computer because we end up. Helen helps him buy the tickets and orders tickets so that he and his wife can come down for 4 days in Sheridan. But it's got its challenges, but we got people that help everybody.
You get to meet some really cool people on the phone or whatever. In fact, when I was doing more with the tickets, I was selling tickets to people from across the country, and then you got to meet them when they came to town. That was really cool.
Well, I know I had a friend who was trying to buy some tickets earlier this year and wasn't having success. And I called Zane and I'm like, can you help this guy? And Zane's like, yeah, give him my number. And so, Zane walked him through it and helped him get their tickets bought. And I think if anybody's out there that is having problems, don't hesitate. Go
Give us a
down
call.
and talk to Helen. Give one of you guys a call.
Right.
You will help them get those
Right.
tickets purchased. It's not like you guys are not approachable by any means. You
No.
want to help the community
Absolutely.
or people outside of our community to get those tickets bought, to come here and to be a part of this celebration, because that's what it really is. It is a week-long event and celebration. It's not just the rodeo. There's so much more now.
Absolutely. Yep.
I talk about the commitment and the volunteerism on behalf of the board of directors, and on this topic of helping people and who do you talk to. 2 years ago or 3, I think Jess was conducting all the introductions and all of the meet and greets and all the connections with the Indian relay teams and CBS News, who brought their people here, unbeknownst to us. Known to us, but unbeknownst to us that they were going to create, I think, a pretty monstrous show about Indian relay. Sheridan didn't get the headlines in that program because their crews were not working during the month of July. It's a mandatory layoff period for the news crews. But so Casper got a lot of the background. But those interviews, those meet and greets, those connections with those relay racing families were all set up by Jess and all behind the scenes on top of everything else he's trying to do. And those are the kind of things that we're pretty proud of and that we look to and say, this is why the Sheridan WYO Rodeo and World Championship Indian Relay is getting better. We're not stuck in the mud. We're not 1931. We're with the times.
Well, on that, I think that's a good place to end for this one. Not that we won't have you back, because I always love to talk about our hometown rodeo. And as we've said before, somehow Zane and Hayden and I can stretch one of these out for 2 hours, and it just doesn't feel like it.
They do talk a lot.
Yes. Yes,
It
we do.
happens.
Yes, we do.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you haven't got your tickets, get down there to the WYO Theater and get your tickets bought. But I want to thank you guys. We'll have you back again. Thank you to our sponsors, Heartline Kubota and True Built Builders. And for more news, sports, and podcasts, check out SheridanMedia.com.